What are their internal processes? Who is their ICP? If you can do some independent research, what's the total addressable market? And this is a lot of work and a lot of responsibility put on the job seeker. But I think, and again, I think if you can try to get your mind wrapped around like, who are the competitors? How hard of this job is this going to be? Like, am I like, is this product the bottom, in terms of all its tiers, and it's going to be a losing battle? Is this product way more expensive or way cheaper than the competition? What am I
Mm.
selling to who, and what are your processes? Like, what do I have to do? Because each organization I've worked at is different for how the SDR or BDR role functions. Like, what do you have to do to get credit?
Landing a great job opportunity is sometimes very challenging. Breaking into tech and getting hired as a sales rep can be even harder. When I was applying to my first sales jobs, I also struggled with the unknown. What to expect, what the tech industry was like, and how do I break in? After years of being an SDR myself, I've decided to build something I wish I had in the beginning. My name is Stefan, and in the SDR Hire podcast, I interview successful SDRs and salespeople who share their stories straight from the trenches. Learn how they got their first job offers, how they succeed every day in their roles, and what makes them stand out in their organizations. We all have what it takes. We just need someone to remind us of the opportunity and give us a better chance for success. Let's get your next SDR gig. Welcome back to the SDR Hire podcast. I'm your host, Stefan. And if you're a new listener, this is a place where you can learn from top producing sales development representatives, or SDRs, what it's like working in tech sales, how do you break in, what do companies look for, and how to succeed as an SDR, all for free. And today, I will chat with Leah Fraser, an ADR, or an account development representative at a company called UserGems. An ADR is the same as SDR or BDR, but just a different acronym. Anyway, Leah has been in tech sales for the past few years and a few companies. The first part of her career has been crowned with building custom training programs for some of the largest companies in the world. And today she's applying that knowledge in her day-to-day. Leah, welcome to the show.
Stefan, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's just kick things off with what brought you in, or rather, maybe we can just start with your early background. Like, what did your life look like before getting into tech sales?
It looked very different. My degree is in accounting and did a brief auditing internship in accounting and realized I didn't want to do that as a career. Then it was nonprofits for a little bit. And then for the large chunk of my career, I worked for a really, really tiny company, and it was amazing. And we got to develop custom training, just like you said, for Walmart, Sam's Club, Staples, big companies like that. And it was really a pleasure.
Okay, that sounds really fun. But when you say training programs, what does that actually mean? Like for specific departments, for a specific department, like what did that look like?
Yeah, 100%. It was totally custom training. So we would come in and work, like we did a lot with merchants at Walmart. So we would come in and we would design how to train their new merchants, like the people that would decide what's on the shelf or decide what's sold online, how to do that job. Because as you can imagine, it's a very, you're dealing with a lot of revenue and a lot of cost of goods sold. So there's a lot of like, it's a very skilled job. So we would come in and train them on that, but specific to their role at Walmart's, so it was very, very bespoke.
Gotcha. And there's that accounting background coming out when you said cost of goods sold, um,
Yeah.
the popular COGS. Okay, let's not dive into
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
Okay.
I can do nerdy accounting jokes the whole time if you want.
I think tech sales has more than enough acronyms and short words for stuff. So I think that's more than enough compared to accounting. I mean, I don't have an accounting background, but I spent just a short amount of my early career working at KPMG as a very junior, whatever that is. It's not even an accountant. However, I did learn Excel, which made my life so much easier. So everybody out there, even if you don't need Excel, you should learn it.
I could not agree with you more. Excel is, I love it. And you're
Yep.
going to need it at some level, so definitely learn it.
For sure, for sure. Okay, let's just get back on track. So, like, what made you switch, and how did that transition go from doing trainings and building training programs to actually doing sales in a tech environment?
Yeah, it was a long and winding road to, I guess, quote the Beatles, I guess, is that whoever wrote that song. But yeah, so the company I worked for was very, very small. And actually, unfortunately, there were some layoffs and I was part of that. And so I kind of was out in the world trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had really just immersed myself in that job and it had been so wonderful. So I ended up working in sales in for security companies, like home security companies and camera companies, for a local company where I live, and was doing that and really loved that, actually. Really resonated with that industry and that product. And this was pre-COVID, and SharpSpring was the first SaaS company I worked for, and they're located in Gainesville, Florida. And for any of you that don't know, Gainesville's a lovely place. I love it. I love it. I love it. But it's not a huge metropolitan area. There's maybe 150,000 people. So they wanted local people. They wanted us in the office. So we had a small pool to to pick from. And LinkedIn recruiter reached out on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay, cool, nice. That sounds
Yeah,
great. So,
yeah.
what was Sharp Spring all about?
Yeah, SharpSpring's well, and now they are owned by Constant Contact.
Mhm.
So SharpSpring's a marketing automation software, like a HubSpot. So it's got a CRM. You can do email marketing. You can build landing pages. And SharpSpring was really centered around working with marketing agencies and using them to use our platform for their clients.
Gotcha. That's a very specific niche, and
Yes.
a, a lot of brands in the similar space, meaning like sales automation and marketing automation, they focus actually on agencies because it's a lot easier because you can basically sell multiple seats, so you don't have to like sell one on one. So I guess your company did more or less the same thing, right?
Yes, 100% they did. Yeah. Yeah. And it was it was a whirlwind going into tech sales because I had no background in that. But then I also had no real background in talking to marketers. And that's what I was doing every day, talking about SEO and SEM and landing pages and blah, blah, blah. And there were just so many terms, speaking of acronyms, that I had no idea what they meant. So it was and still is a learning curve.
I bet. And so this was, let's see, this was back in 2019 up until like you were there for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so did COVID happen? Like what happened there? Did you decide to leave, or were you headhunted, or like what happened next?
Yeah, so I had started kind of out as an AE role at SharpSpring for small, like, but working with small marketing agencies. So, and then one of my friends had started an outbound team because we had inbound SDRs, but they were starting an outbound team. And she had worked with me, and she was now managing that team. And so I said, "Hey, that actually sounds very interesting. Can I come and work for you?" So I did, and I really, as weird as it sounds, and I still question it, fell in love with prospecting. I really, yeah, I love that part of the sales cycle. I love, meeting people and talking to people and getting people excited and then transferring it over to an AE. um, so, so yeah, so I really loved it. And in 2021, I guess it was, an opportunity came up. I saw it on LinkedIn again. I think that's where I applied, actually, for Grin, which is an influencer marketing software. So again, in the marketing space, but specifically niched into the influencer marketing area. And I thought that was really interesting, especially during COVID, because we were all stuck at home and there was a lot of online shopping. And so how do influencers, like how are these people on different platforms, Instagram or TikTok, how are they connecting with people? And then, how are they selling products because of that? And what does that business look like? So it was very interesting.
That's cool. What was the hiring process any different because you were, I mean, obviously it must have been during COVID, obviously. Like, did you have more interviews online? Did you ever see your hiring managers face to face at some point?
Oh, good question. Yes, all of this. So Grin is based out of Sacramento, California, and I live in Florida. So yeah, completely remote. Um, and I had worked remotely in that training job for like 9 years. So I had done remote work. So the transition, I think everyone was a little in shock because of COVID. But the transition to just working from home was not a hard one for me because I had done that before. So yeah, Grin, 100% remote company, just like my company now. And it was all over Zoom. But I'd kind of gotten used to that because I had been doing that. And then at Sharp Spring, we did all our demos virtually. So, it's inside sales in that regards, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, gotcha. So you were there for a year selling into marketers. I'm assuming like a little bit. I don't know actually. What was the target market for that? Like, okay, I get what you were selling. It was
Yeah.
I guess a platform where you can find influencers for a specific niche, and then you kind of reach out to them automatically or something like that, right?
Yeah, that, and it was actually cool because it had like the CRM and analytics piece. So we were selling to direct to consumer companies. So like some big like name brands that you would know. I'm trying to think of some right now off the top of my head.
Well, I can
Like
assume.
all the cool brands that you can think of online. And so we would sell to their internal marketers because those companies, they're really driving sales to their website because they don't have a sales team per se. So their marketing function can take on a lot of driving those people to the website to hopefully purchase. So we were working with those internal marketers at those
Mm,
direct to consumer brands.
nice. That sounds fun. What channels were you using back then? Like email only, or like did you cold call those marketers? Like what that looked like?
Yeah. Grin was the first company in terms of prospecting that we really used a multi-channel, or that I had experience using a multi-channel approach. At my first company, Sharp Spring, we were just cold calling all day. So at that company, I was making anywhere from like 100 to 140 calls a day. At Grin, we would find our accounts, make sure that they were ICP or our ideal customer profile. We would do the research on them, and then that's when I first started using outreach as a tool, which I love outreach. So email, LinkedIn, cold call, videos, sometimes
Everything.
texting people, everything.
Cold FaceTime, cold
Yeah.
texting, everything.
Well, I've never done cold FaceTime, and it's always been talked about. I kind of draw the line there. I feel like that's uncomfortable. Like if like I'm gonna cold FaceTime someone, I don't know. I have my doubts on
Oh,
that.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey there. I wanted to let you in on a couple of additional resources available other than the podcast and the social media content. So I recently started a newsletter where I break down the best pieces of advice from the podcast about getting hired, how to be a top performing sales rep, into actionable nuggets that you can apply literally as soon as you read them. And in addition, if you're currently looking for an SDR role, you can fill out a form to let me know, and I'll do my best to help put you in front of tech companies hiring for SDRs. All right, back to the show.
So you were there for about a year, maybe a bit more, and then you joined a very interesting company to me. But can you explain what that transition looked like eventually, and why did you switch again? So like it's not usual for folks to switch, as early. Although I'm all for like job hopping, totally. Like I was one. Um,
Well, I hope
but
you're for job hopping because that's what UserGems helps with. No, I'm just kidding.
exactly. There we go. Okay, we'll get into what UserGems does. But like, what did that transition look like? Did you again get headhunted? Did you just see a great opportunity and jump on board?
So I was very, very fortunate. One of my peers at Sharp Spring, she had followed me to Grin, and then she I think was the first. BDR at UserGems, Sarah Angel. I love her. I love her. I love her. Not just because she's my boss. But she then was the first SDR BDR at UserGems, and she built out the team. And then she was hiring more people, and we had obviously kept in touch. And the product, this is the first product that I've sold that I actually have like a visceral, like I have done work without a product like this, and I viscerally know how ineffective, time consuming, frustrating, whatever words you want to use, it is. So that was one of the reasons I was very excited, because like I've been in the BDR, ADR, SDR role, and our product is really for one use is for these teams, and it's also for like marketing teams as well, but it is used a lot by this biz development function. So I just kind of got really excited about how we could make people's lives better, like with this software that works and it does cool things. And I know these buyer personas and I've felt their pain. So yeah, like I got really excited, and I still am, about the product.
That sounds awesome. By the way, who's that on your I'd say table?
This is, hold on, let me see if I can get her to come back. This is my cat.
That's
She
okay.
is, I'm sure she'll make an appearance. She really will.
Nice. Okay, cool. So user gems, right? With an S. Yes, that's right.
Yes, with an S. Yeah.
UserGems. Okay, I know what the company does, but let's just dive in, because it's a very unique product, very close to a lot of SDRs, BDRs, and account executives out there. So, what is it all about?
Okay, so basically it's using job changes, and it's using that trigger, which, you mentioned early. I mean, and I'm not sure what it's like in Europe or other parts in the world, but in the US, we are really seeing a lot of job changes year over year, specifically in the tech industry. Like I see it a lot, but in other industries as well. So it's using that job movement that's happening so much, automating that whole process, so you can keep in touch with people when they change jobs, to hopefully like bring and sell your product to their new company. And then the other part of it is keeping or like knowing about people that you don't know but want to know, and getting in contact with them. So we can like really make and basically fully automate that whole process of, you tell us your target accounts, you tell us your key personas within them, and then like it's like a list that's delivered to you with their contact information, and with a swipe of a button you can put them into a sequence, an automated sequence. So like if someone got promoted or there's a new exec being hired, you know that in a timely manner, and then you can automate your outreach, or have manual outreach. We have different companies that do different things based off of their needs. But I have spent 4 to 5 hours a day trying to do what that product does for you, and it does it. You go to one platform and you just click buttons, so it makes it very, very easy.
I love it, especially
Yeah.
because this is probably my favorite trigger that I used to use for outreach. I mean, I do it even today. I never knew this was the product actually. And it's just a convenient trigger. You can do with it, like you can play around with it. You can, I don't know, like there's so many versions of the same trigger, or rather types of outreach that you can do using the same trigger, which is like they either got promoted or they got um, like changed their job. And that's
Yeah.
it's so cool. I really love the fact that there actually is a tool that is focused only on this use case, only for tech people. I mean, I guess it's usually for like people in tech. So very cool, very nice. So how big is the team? Are you guys scaling? What's going on there?
Yeah, we are about always kind of, I was number 30 employee, I think, or 32 back in April. So it's a smaller company. I think we're at about 55 people right now. If you look on our website, I believe we might still be hiring for customer success managers, so that after the sale, how do you keep, retain your customers? We had just been hiring for BDRs and AEs, but I think the teams are where they are going to be for right now, at least. But if anyone is watching this anytime in the future, feel free to DM me on LinkedIn or just go to UserGems website and see what jobs are posted.
Nice. And if you want to buy this, please schedule a call with Leah. She'll be more than happy to provide a demo.
Yes, please. If anyone, a shameless promotion, if anyone wants to see a demo, please come to my LinkedIn.
Yes. And I would actually, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll offline about that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Okay. Okay, so maybe you can just dive a little bit deeper into the target persona. So what's at least this, like the ICP, what's the size of the company? And I guess your main approach is job changes. But what type of ICP is it? Are you just going after huge companies and huge accounts, bigger teams, or does it even matter? What's the strategy there?
Yeah, great questions. We're definitely going after larger companies. And I do think, just generally speaking, really understanding who your ideal customer profile is for your company. And then and this takes time, so this is not a quick thing to do necessarily, but really trying to understand that role. I had told you, Stefan, I really appreciated your interview you did with that chief marketing officer on your show, because one of our buyer ICP personas are marketing directors, CMOs, et cetera. And, I think about them every day, but I'm not talking to people at that high level, and they're maybe not being as candid with me because I'm cold calling or cold emailing. So to really find ways to understand how your ICP buyers are thinking, I think is critical. So, but to answer your question, sorry for the ramble, marketers, sales directors, VP of sales, biz development directors. And then also we do work a lot with revenue or sales or marketing operations people, because, typically they're in some organizations, they're, looking at the tech and seeing how it all fits together. And they want to make sure that this is a solution that will work for helping generate pipeline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In a relatively easy manner.
Relatively, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And by the way, what Leah was talking about is my experiment for another concept called Meet Your ICP or My ICP, where I interview target personas similar to the one Leah is going after, where you can learn the way other people are actually buying their products, what their inboxes look like, do they answer their phones, and just what keeps them up at night. So I'm glad you found value in that. I think I'm going to scale the project into a standalone thing, but we'll see how things go. Okay.
I would love that. I'll send you my ICP buyer personas so you can target those people first.
Awesome. No, I'm just afraid to target just the sales folks, because I usually talk just with salespeople. So some of the people that I had feedback from, they were like, okay, maybe you can just interview somebody else other than a sales persona. So, but anyway, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Cool. Okay, let's continue with our episode. Okay, so what would you say? And obviously, I mean, I have my version of this answer, but I'm curious to understand what you think. What would you say is making you successful in what you do today? And it's a very interesting thing that you mentioned, that you prefer the prospecting part rather than the actual sale, which is awesome. By the way, for everybody listening, you don't necessarily have to be an AE to be successful in this career. So,
no. Yeah, and I would say that too. I was in the AE position for a little bit, and to be very fair, I was very mediocre at it. I was not great at it. So, I think, but I had a lot of friends who at SharpSpring were my peers in the AE role, and they are and were fantastic. And I keep in touch with them a lot. And I think it's just a different skill set. And it's just a different process. There's different things you need to do, I think, to be successful as an AE versus a BDR. So I think it's just a matter of trying to find out which one you prefer, and to see what you like.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I feel the same way. I was an account executive. I wouldn't say I was as successful as some other folks that I know who are just crushing the role. And obviously, I didn't really stick long enough in the role, but I've been selling my own stuff for the past year, and that has been a very fun way of just applying the sales experience that I've gathered over the years. But what I am curious is like and I'm not going to let you off the hook. Like, what makes you successful?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. Am I even successful? Let's like that. I feel like we could have a 5-hour debate about that, but success, no, I'm teasing. But to answer your question, I think because in the 3 different tech companies I've worked with, they've been vastly different in terms of their go-to-market strategy, vastly different in how the BDR function. What you do, like I said, my first company was just cold calling. My second company was not. And the UserGems is like a more holistic approach too. We use all the channels, not just cold calling. So I think it's really just reaching out to people in my community and like talking to them and seeing what they do and seeing what they're doing and getting specific advice and then trying it and seeing if it's going to work for me. I feel like I kind of just like digging. I'll dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig until I can get an answer. But I think, definitely talk to your managers and your leadership. But I think it's really important to talk to your peers and understand what they're doing. And, not everyone you work with is going to be your best friend or, have your back. But I think what's helped me is finding people that I think, do have my back and were willing to help and were willing to share what they were doing. And kind of had that mindset of like, okay, because yes, it is a competition, but it's also kind of not a competition. So having that mindset, I think of looking at my peers as people I could learn from, that I can still learn from.
I think that's a very healthy mindset where you just, I think you can always either focus on, oh, I gotta beat the other guy, or
Right,
you can focus on like, how do I just grow and just not
right,
focus on the other part of the equation? And I actually prefer doing things that way. I know some people who are just like very competitive. They just want to
right,
win at all costs, and that's fine. It's also cool.
right. Oh yeah,
But like for me, and I think you're the same way, it just like I don't really care as long as like I'm learning and I'm growing, and like if you're doing the same along the way, amazing, like let's have a beer, whatever. So okay, I love that attitude. I'm curious though, as you probably know, I mean, it has been like that for me. Being in a sales role, an SDR role, it's not always um an easy thing to do. So is there, what aspects of the job do you dislike or you hate about being an SDR?
oh my God. Okay, so no, I wanted
Where
to
to
say this is
start?
oh yeah, where to start? No, this is a hard role. I think any role in sales is hard. I think the general public, myself included, before I was in sales, you think of salespeople as I think, the general perception is they're dishonest, they're just trying to like scam you, they're just trying to get their deal, they don't care about your needs. And so it's a lot to kind of overcome with people. So yeah, I don't love being yelled at on cold calls. It still happens. Is it my favorite thing in the world? No. But and I have a quote from Dolly Parton I wanted to say because I think this sums up kind of how I feel about like advice and things. Like I think it's really important, as I just said, to network and to learn from people. But Dolly Parton said, "I don't like to give advice. I like to give people information because everyone's life is different and everyone's journey is different." And yeah, so I have a myriad of ways that I try to take care of myself emotionally and in my mental health. And that's always evolving. But I think for me, at least, being in sales, having uh, support systems outside of sales and support systems outside of work has been very, very important for me to put things in perspective, to go on a walk, to, talk to my mom, like whoever. That has been really helpful for me to get, because get that rejection and that no. I mean, you're going to hear no and you're going to be rejected more then people are going to be like, you're amazing.
That's right. I feel you totally. And I remember initially, I remember it has been like, it's always been tough. It's just that you kind of get used to it and then you kind of just like, do your stuff. I remember in the beginning, I had a buddy. I mean, we were very close friends. We used to kind of bitch about work to each other, and like that's to your point of having some kind of support system. I think that was ours back at that time, and as long as we have a support system of any kind or like a vent system where you can just like discharge in any way possible, I think that's probably the healthiest thing that you can do for your sales career, because like different people have different motivations why they are in sales. Some are because of the thrill, some are because they just enjoy being yelled at, and some are and some are there for the money. But
Do you
we
think
all
that's me? Do you think I'm in category two? Do I
for
really
sure.
like being yelled at?
For sure. Like I can see it from miles away. Like it's written on your face. Like you're category number 2.
Okay, good. I'm glad it's clear to everyone.
Yeah, there we go. No, but I think like we all feel the same level of stress. It's just that how we deal with it, and from my conversations with successful folks like you and the rest of the people that I've interviewed, like everybody has their own way, but they all eventually find a way to cope with the stress, how they find the rhythm, how they find their own lane of execution, which leads them to being successful. And that's really inspiring because it's very transferable. It doesn't really matter whether you're in sales or anywhere else. You could like use the same thing for your job. So yeah, I went on a ramble myself here.
No, but I loved it. And I will say this, I really do think at its core, that's one of the reasons that, sales is so hard, but I like it so much, is that, you're, at least from my experience, you're coming up, you're dealing with people, you're selling to people, you're a person, there's all the emotions and biases and, whatever that we all have as humans. So I think I like working in sales. One of the reasons is because you get to play in that area and you get to really like, at least for me, it's like I have to take care of myself and I have to find a way to move through problems. I can't like avoid them and be successful. So I have to find a way to like face them and move through them, whether that's an internal fear I have or whether it's like a no, an objection I'm getting constantly from people. So like, then I can't ignore it, I guess. And I think I like that about sales. It kind of forces me to like look things in the eye.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Okay, so what would you say is let's go to a more creative side of the interview. So what would you say is a very creative way, the unique way that you've booked a meeting in your career?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a great question. One of the things I used to do at my old company is we used the software Drift for making videos, but also we had the Drift, whatever Drift's product was that would tell you who was on your website. So like you could see like intent information. Now it wouldn't tell you their name, but it would tell you the domain. And because we were working with businesses, I would just leave that up all day long. And I'd see any domain and I'd go, like, I was just constantly like being like, okay, this direct to consumer brand someone's on our website. I don't know why, but I'm going to go and I would, cause I didn't have UserGems, shameless plug for UserGems. So I had to go manually and find all those people, those ICP people, and put them into sequences and then reach out to them. But that, like, at least in that company really worked. Like I booked a lot of meetings just stalking our website to see like who was on our website and then putting those people. Now, some people were there because They wanted, resources about influencer marketing because they were influencer marketers, or they themselves were influencers on Instagram. So it didn't always work, but it got me meetings.
It had a pretty successful. It had a pretty good success rate, I can assume.
Yeah, because it was like someone from this brand was on our website.
That's really creative. Awesome. Okay. Where do you see yourself going next? Like, you've been an SDR for a while. Do you see yourself going into perhaps a management role, maybe like, coaching reps, maybe an enablement role, maybe like, because I think you have very diverse background. You could literally choose where you want to go and you would probably crush it the same way you're doing it today. But yeah, what's in plan for you?
Well, I'm like, let me keep you on a speed dial. So if I need some words of encouragement, I'll call Steph and I'll be like, hey, what did you say? No, that's a good question. I don't know. The only thing I'm pretty clear on is I don't want to be an AE at like kind of like a relatively short cycle sales cycle SaaS company, because I don't think it plays to my skill sets and I get very stressed out. So I don't think it'd be good for my employer or me personally. So I don't know. I've thought about RevOps. I've thought about customer success or account management. I've thought about enablement. It's still TBD in my brain.
Yeah, fair enough. That's cool. I had a guy, Brian with a Y. I don't know. Like, I would suggest everybody to check that episode out.
Yeah.
He's a very very young guy. I mean, he's younger than me. He's very very successful SDR at SalesLoft.
Ooh.
And it's interesting. And by the way, SalesLoft has a very tough process for basically getting a job over there. So it's very competitive. Anyway, he actually has a very interesting plan of landing an account manager role over there
Okay.
rather than going into AE or whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
the dude is like way older than he sounds. Because like he speaks like a head of sales, like a chief revenue officer. I think that's how I titled the episode. So it's a very interesting thought there. Like, usually folks go after AE,
Right. Right.
but like, what is it about account management? Is there something specific kind of drawing you over there, or is it just one thing on the platter of your options?
I think for me, from what I've seen, because I've been friends with a lot of account managers as well, and I would also say that too, like talk to people that aren't in the ADR or BDR or AE function, talk just for your own understanding of the product, but also just to expose yourself to other areas of the business, because they're all working together, or they should be. But I like account management. I like the thought of it, at least, because relationships are important to me. I think I've mentioned to you, I do just kind of on the side, a little real estate in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I'm a realtor, and one of the reasons I wanted to start that business was so that I could have something really tiny that I could nurture and grow based off of my values. And referral business, which is different than being an account manager, but those long-term relationships with people are really important to me. And I like investing time into longer term relationships. So that's one thing that you don't, or I at least haven't gotten as a BDR with my prospects. It's kind of like, hey, I'm talking to you for a short period of time and then you're gone. So I like the idea of really nurturing and helping a customer with our product solve some kind of need over a long term.
That makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
there's something so appealing about that thought, honestly, even for me as well, because it's like, it's not that big of a grind as you kind of, you're used to.
Right.
It's more like just chilling, doing the same thing more or less, but kind of in a
Yeah.
chill way. And then like just growing the account, having a great relationship with folks. I assume it's not really always like that. You will probably get pushed back and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the rosy version.
Exactly. But it does kind of have a certain appeal to it. So I can see how it kind of why people are drawn to it. Cool. So if you were getting into a BDR role today, what questions would you ask the hiring manager?
Hey everyone, I started SDR Hire in the first place to help as many of you as I can to land your next job, become better at sales, and just help you propel your career. So if you're finding value in this content and you know somebody who will benefit from it, please share it with them. Tag them in a post, send them via text, share it wherever you share stuff with your community. And as always, all of this is completely free and is here to help everyone succeed. So your recommendation goes a long way. I appreciate you, and let's get back to the show.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I would really want to understand as much as I can. And I think is his name Ryan Walsh with RepView. I think he writes and speaks about this much better than I'm going to do it right now. But I would try to really understand what are their internal processes, who is their ICP. If you can do some independent research, what's the total addressable market? And this is a lot of work and a lot of how do I say this, responsibility put on the job seeker. But I think, and again, I think if you can try to get your mind wrapped around like who are the competitors, how hard of this job is this going to be? Like, am I like, is this product the bottom, in terms of all its tiers, and that's gonna be a losing battle? Is this product way more expensive or way cheaper than the competition? Again, that's a lot of research to do, but that's what I like to know, and what we'll continue to want to know. Like, what am I selling to who, and what are your processes? Like, what do I have to do? Because each organization I've worked at is different for how the SDR or BDR role functions. Like, what do you have to do to get credit? So I would, as much as possible, try to understand that. And then, I mean, just very practically, and this is maybe too honest, but like, if you need a job and can't find the perfect job, just get your foot in the door. Like, just get your foot in the door. That's my advice, even though I don't like giving advice, but generally that has worked for me, getting my foot in the door and then kind of figuring out where I need it to be.
I agree. I mean, there are so many levels to this, but like on a general level, if you can, like if you have the opportunity to, be picky and learn, please be picky and afford yourself to be picky, because it's gonna pay a lot for you to be in that way. However, and I think, yeah, I mean, I'll kind of summarize, but like, if you're if you need a job, like make sure you get that and then create opportunities and options for yourself, right?
Yeah, because one of the things, and I still feel this way, because I'm relatively new to sales, just generally speaking, like in my career, like only about 4 to 5 years in sales, and like, don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. You know what I mean? Because
yes,
sometimes you just gotta like get in there and learn, and maybe it's not going to be the most fun, and there's probably better positions that you could get, but like, just get in and then start networking. Network.
you stole the answer to my next question, which is,
Sorry.
what's your message to anyone trying to break in and become an SDR, or at least get a better BDR offer on the table?
And I mean, and I'm only starting to kind of really get my mind wrapped around it, but I think LinkedIn is actually pretty, like, this amazing tool at our disposal. And again, I'm just starting to, for networking, exactly. And I'm just starting to get my head around it really actively, using it for that purpose. But listen, we're people, and we sell to people, and we need people for support. And I think that's going to be your biggest resource that you have career-wise, is the people that you know and like how you've treated them.
Yep, exactly. And that's like, I've been getting folks on the show through networking. I've been getting,
I love it,
clients through networking, and I think that has been the most efficient, let's say, channel for me, at least. But it took me a while to understand the full power of networking over LinkedIn. I think it would work anywhere, meaning like it doesn't necessarily have to be LinkedIn. You can do the same thing on Instagram, but like, the titles here,
Right.
who's doing what, and like, what you need to tell to somebody else in order to get something to happen. And this sounds a bit like opportunistic, but I think everybody gets my point.
Yeah, yeah, and I've always been a huge fan of networking, like before the not before the internet, but like in college, I did a lot of networking in person. I was involved in a local networking group where we met once a week in person. This was pre-COVID, so I don't really think the forum you network really matters
Yeah,
as long as you find where your people are. And I don't mean just your ICP buyer personas. I mean like your peers too. You know,
that's right.
I found out about this job because I had a relationship and kept a relationship with someone I worked at, two companies prior. So like I think there's a real power to that.
Yeah, definitely. A very, very strong and powerful weapon to use for whatever, whether that's sales,
For
whether that's
good.
career, for good. Exactly for good. No bad things here. No. Okay. Okay, that was cool. I want to jump into the rapid questions, and then we can start wrapping up. You ready? Cool. So, what do you think is the best SDR learning resource?
Oh my God, so many. I love Beck Holland, though. I have to say, I love, love, love Beck Holland. Watch her stuff. It's free. She's amazing.
Okay, so and speaking of Beck, I think she's a stakeholder in the company that you work in. So shame on you for promoting her in this way. No, I'm kidding. Beck is
I
amazing.
think
I learned from her.
I really know all the details. So that is just genuine. I love her content.
Exactly. But she's like a strategic advisor or something for UserGems, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Something like that. There's some relationship. I'm not exactly sure. You will have to ask other people.
Gotcha. Well, so that practically means like following influencers and people with experience on LinkedIn and just trying to learn from them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, correct. And again, like I would say to with everything, take it with a grain of salt, like because the advice that they give is generally speaking, but I really, at least in my experience, I've found, what I did at one company that worked might not necessarily translate at another company for a million reasons. It might not
Mhm.
translate as effective. So I'd say like look at content, read content on LinkedIn. I have Josh Braun's, I think, his his cold calling cards, which I love. I love, love, love these as well. Get information, but for me at least, I've had to always connect it back with my peers and with my managers at my company because it's always going to be, at least from my experience, a slight. It's not going to be just do what they did and get instant success.
That's right. You always have to adjust to your industry, your situation, whatever.
Right.
I love it. Okay, what do you think is the best SDR skill to have
Ooh,
or
that's a good
develop?
one. Ooh, okay, I'm just gonna rapid fire. Curiosity. I don't want to say thick skin because I don't know that I necessarily have thick skin, but like the ability to get back up, I guess.
That
Perseverance.
perseverance, there we go. I like to use fighting adversity. Basically, I think it kind of describes it as well. But yeah, I think more or less everybody mentions these. Okay. Oh, you already answered this one. Best SDR creator to follow. Do you have anyone else besides Beck?
Love
Oh,
Josh
and Josh
Braun.
Brown. Okay.
Um, oh God, like people, like I follow so many. I love Ryan Walsh on his stuff that he writes on RepView. This is more for humor, but also cathartic humor. Corporate Bro. If you guys don't not know about Bro, find him. Like I
There we
feel like I
go.
owe him thousands of dollars in therapy sessions, like because he's been so helpful to me. Oh, and I love Corporate Natalie. She's less on the sales side. I don't. I think they must know each other because they collaborate on some of their content. But she's amazing and really funny.
I love it. Okay. What is your preferred outreach channel?
That's a good one. I don't know because they're all so, I can't say. I think you need them all together because like I don't think cold emails just work. I don't think just LinkedIn works by itself. I don't think cold calling works. Like I think you kind of need all of it.
Mm. Okay. Very, very political answer. Thank you for that.
I don't want to make anyone mad about my answer.
I don't want to make cold calls, be angry with cold emails, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Let me just put you on the spot. What is your favorite or go-to cold call opener that you use?
So I got this from Beck, who, it's the same kind of I think philosophy Josh Braun has. I don't know that either. I don't know who had the original idea, but this pattern interrupt. So I love pattern interrupts. So what I've been doing recently is I say, hey, is this Stefan? And you'd say, yeah. And I'd say, great. Say, hey, full disclosure, my name is Leah Fraser. I'm calling from UserGems. This is a cold call. I know you might not like getting cold calls. I'm not a huge fan of making them, so I just wanted to get that out there. And then I just pause, and most people just like laugh, and they're like, "Okay, why are you calling?" You know, because and Beck I think really describes it beautifully. It's like, hey, like you're a human, I'm a human. Like I know no one likes to get cold called, but like we're doing this and I'm going to be honest with you. And then like you either tell me you're not interested or you hang up on me or whatever, or you yell at me. But like I feel like I have come to the relationship authentically and honestly, and that really seems to work. And I think people appreciate it.
Love it. Amazing. What is your favorite call to action that you use either in your cold emails or your cold calls?
Book a demo. No, I'm just kidding. Book a demo or I'm going to get fired. No, I'm teasing. I don't know because like I experiment with a ton of them. I think it depends. Like sometimes you just want to like as cheesy it sounds, provide value. So I'm like not even asking anything. I'm just like sending something or showing a resource or sharing a resource. So there's no call to action. Some is just like, do you want to talk about this? I don't think I'm an expert in call to action. So don't defer to me on that.
No, I won't. I won't. No worries. No worries. Okay. And final question. What is your favorite tech sales acronym?
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
that's a good one. I mean, ICP, ideal customer pro, maybe TAM. I love TAM, total addressable market. ARR, annual reoccurring revenue, or however, you do the R's. Yeah, I love them all. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of them.
Exactly. That's why I asked these because I just realized at some point there are just so many acronyms. And maybe, folks who are listening to this might just learn an acronym or two that they, find useful to use in an interview or something like that. And so, yeah, TAM, I like that one. ICP is probably one of my favorite ones because, like, I have this theory that whatever skill set that you have, meaning like as good as you are on the phone or writing cold emails, like if you don't prospect your ICP properly, if you don't understand who you're talking to, your skills are worth shit. Like you'll probably get somebody on the phone and it's going to happen, but you might be missing, you might be getting wrong meetings, you might be wasting time. And so,
Right.
my mantra is just like, nail the ICP and everything will come after, a lot more easily.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to one of my peers, Kristen Connor. She's an AE at UserGems, and she posts a lot on LinkedIn. And she said this, and I really resonated with this, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to work at UserGems. Like, if you can, if you have the opportunity to be picky, find a ICP that you're like excited to talk to, and you're excited, like, and they like I understand this prospecting, building pipeline like pain. So I can talk to marketers or sales ops people or even salespeople best. And I can talk genuinely about that. And she really says that for her career, that's been important. And I think it is in mine too.
Makes sense a lot. And I'm sorry if you're seeing me kind of getting distracted. My dog is
Oh
just
no.
trying to, she's trying to play pool with me with her blanket, but all good. All good.
It's okay. I'm sure my cat will make another appearance. She's looking out the window right now.
I was hoping we could meet her. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Oh, come
Okay.
here. Yeah. No. I'll bring. Oh, I mean, come here. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyone that's worked with me knows that she is, she's my coworker.
hello.
She's my
She's
ride or
amazing.
die. Thank
She's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
She's beautiful.
She's a
What's her
good girl.
name?
It's a weird name. It's Minkies. I don't know. It's a made up word. Minkies. I don't know. Minkies.
Yeah, almost sounds like cereal or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of, but it's mostly a cat name, but my second guess is cereal.
It's a totally made up word, at least as far as I know.
No, all good, kidding. Okay, Leah, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your experience and your wisdom and your good practices and how important it is to understand your ICP. So I love this conversation and hope the audience will too.
Thank you so much, Stefan. Yeah, I loved it too. And I'd say, and anyone that's listening to this now or later, you're welcome to DM me. Happy to talk and hear where you are and hear like how I could help if possible.
Nice. I always include in the descriptions, I always include the handles and the links and all of that. But do you have like a book a demo link or like a Calendly that I can leave underneath?
I'll do that. I'll send you my Calendly. Perfect.
Ooh.
Perfect.
There we go. And that's how a great affiliate partnership started. No.
Exactly. You're like,
Cool. Awesome. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
Thank you for tuning in to the SDR Hire podcast, the only podcast exclusively focused on SDRs, where successful salespeople share about their hiring stories and sales adventures straight from the trenches. If you found this useful, go ahead and share it with someone else you know is trying to break into tech or land their next SDR gig. You can find SDR Hire on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and catch you in the next episode.